the way. The music.
Thank you, Paul. Love this song. What's up, everybody? Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Brandon, and Mount Carmel and VetCon for inviting me here today. Thank you to all of you veterans out there. How many veterans we got? Ooh, nice. I'm a veteran. I served 2 tours in Iraq. I did 6 years in the Army, and I'm the CEO of SHEATH Underwear. And we are a pouch underwear company, like Paul just told you. And I invented the underwear when I was actually in Iraq. Okay, so I was on my 2nd tour, and how many of you guys have been to Iraq? Okay, so you know how hot it is, and you know when you're wearing your battle rattle and you're in the field and you can't shower, things can get a little bit uncomfortable downstairs. And they say necessity is the mother of invention, and this was like a need. I was so uncomfortable in my whitey tighties that the Army issued that were just smashing my junk up into my body. And it was like so uncomfortable that I had this epiphany that what if there was a pouch in the underwear? And so by this time, it was 2008, there was internet in Iraq. So I go to my computer and I search online, and I want to try to find the underwear to buy it, because I'm like, there's no way in 2,000 years, nobody's come up with this idea. And so I go searching pouch underwear, pocket underwear, something, and I couldn't find anything. So I decided to make them while I was there in Iraq. So I go to the PX, I get some underwear, get some scissors, start drawing out sketches, and I took the sketches and the underwear to the tailors, because there's tailors in Iraq because you got to have your uniform nice and tight. Well, they weren't tailoring my uniform, they were tailoring my underwear. And I took it in there and I told them the story, and I showed them the images, and they kind of snickered at me. But I come back the next day and they made them, So I have the picture of me in Iraq. I was in Tikrit, and it's a very crude first prototype, as you can see. We've come a long way since then. But the concept was there, and I would tell people about it, and they were intrigued, because every man has had the experience of having like a sticky situation where you have to adjust. And so this is to prevent that. And it was really just for me. I wasn't really trying to make some product to sell to the world. I was literally making them for myself. So if you are trying to invent a product or bring a product to market, you need to believe in it yourself first. Don't lie to yourself and think that maybe it'll work, or try to make something that other people will like. You need to make it, if you like it, there's going to be people out there that like it. We're not that different, So I had them made, I'm telling people, getting good feedback. I get home and I start sewing. I alter all my underwear, and I started buying underwear from like Ross and TJ Maxx, and I'm altering those. I'm giving them to friends. I'm testing them in the field. We had, an FTX. You go out to the field. You can't really field training exercise, and you can't shower. And so I'm out there, I'm testing them out, and essentially the pouch keeps things from getting like grimy, but it also provides like airflow, and it just keeps things cooler. And this is the hottest part of your body, and when you keep that part of your body cool, the rest of your body stays cool. It's because you got wind or whatever blowing. It's not just like smashing up against yourself and making a hot mess, right? So let's see what this one is. Okay, so if you build it, they will come. This is what I would tell myself when I was first going through my very first production. If you build it, They will come. It's from Field of Dreams. It's a movie. And and I believed in it. And I had people kind of encouraging me to move forward with it. So I found a producer, a production company. I sent them the money. But before you do that, you're like doing this prototype process. And as you saw that first prototype, it was pretty crude. I had made a new one, sent it to the manufacturer. They send me back a prototype. It's pretty good. I tell them to make some adjustments. They send me another one, and I'm like, it's good enough. I'm excited. I'm like getting excited because people are giving me all this feedback. I want to make $1 million. And I started getting sales. So people were buying into the concept. Does everyone agree it's a decent concept? Yeah. Okay. So people were buying it just for the concept. She doesn't like it. I'm just kidding. But the feedback I started getting was that the pouch was too high. And I kind of knew it, but I was like in denial. I was so excited to put it out. And so I'm going to show you the pouch. It was up there. And if you put them on, you're going to suffocate. And you don't want that. So the problem with this rushing was that, I was so excited I rushed it. And now I have a product I can't sell. I spent all my money. And ultimately, it ended up setting me back 3 years. And I'll go over this. Because that was 2010. I had the idea in 2008. 2010, I make the production. But never once did I say to myself, I'm going to give up. Because most people are going to give up at the first obstacle before they even start. You'll talk yourself out of it while you're coming up with the idea, and then just essentially talk yourself out of it. So don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to fail. Michael Jordan said, I have failed over and over and over again, and that is why I succeed. And I love Michael Jordan, the greatest of all time. Okay, so now we're going to backtrack 6 years, though, because I actually had this other idea in 2000. So it was in the year 2000. I'm 20 years old, and I have this idea for cool keys. The keys that are going to be like jewelry, they're going to be like art, they're going to be like better than just bland old keys. Okay, it's 2000. The internet's just kind of coming in, Napster's around, but it's hard. You can't find anything and everything on the internet quite yet. So I go to this metallurgist that I was working with, and he tells me it can't be done. Then I go to this patent office, and I'm going to try to patent it. And he's like, it's already this idea has already been designed. There used to be these keys with like letters and numbers or other designs way back in the day. And I'm getting this discouraging talk. Not only that, my best friend who at the time was with me when I came up with the idea. He's like, nobody's going to use keys in like 5 years. It's all going to be thumbprints and retina scanners and stuff. So within about 6 months, I gave up. It was too hard, and I quit. Okay? So the follow through is the hard part. Like the ideas, how many of you guys have had an idea and then not followed through with it, and then you see someone else did it? Okay? So you got to move forward, and most people along the way are going to drop off, just like as obstacles happen or come up and life happens, it's a tough road. You got to be willing to dedicate 20 years of your life without pay, like in terms of the mentality that you need to have, like your life depends on it. It needs to become an all-burning obsession. Burn the bridges, no retreat, no surrender. That is Spartan law. You know what the deal is. Okay, so I got this tattoo on my back as sort of like an insurance policy. I have more pictures of it, but you want to burn the boats and commit. And I've got this tattoo, and I say this story where if I gave up and I'm walking down the beach one day with my shirt off, and some little kid runs up to me and it's like, Mister, what's that tattoo mean? Everyone asks what tattoos mean, and I'm going to say, oh, that's just a dream I gave up on a long time ago, okay? And so It's been 10 years. We're on our 10-year anniversary, and that's just a little bit of the level of commitment. So, back to the first production, the pouch is too high. Like I said, there was no thought of quitting. I actually ended up going and working with a tailor, Tony, and the deal was if he let me use his sewing machines, I would man his counter for free, because I was going to school at the time. I got my bachelor's in organizational development and my master's in business. And so I'm getting like that little GI Bill deal. So he didn't have to pay me. And again, every project I did for school, I would use SHEATH as the subject matter. Every lesson that we learned, I'm using SHEATH as the subject. So I was applying it to everything I learned while I was getting those degrees. And I'm also working with Tony. So I actually fixed those 1,000 pairs, and I cut them and resewed them. And so we started selling more. I selling them and getting more feedback. And then in the process, I made another prototype with Tony, and I wanted to do a new production. Okay, I'm gonna tell you a quick story about how I got the money, kind of. 2 stories. So it's 2012, and I go to this Joe Rogan comedy show. And you guys know Joe Rogan, my boy. Anyways, I'm gonna throw the underwear on stage, and I'm gonna get his attention, and I'm gonna sponsor his podcast, and we're gonna be rich. Well, I wait till after he does his comedy, and he's doing crowd work. So I'm like, okay, it's safe, it's my time. And I throw this lob up, and it landed right at his feet. And we're in Austin, and he tells me, he picks it up, and he's like, is this an Austin is weird shirt? But then he sees SHEATH on the packaging, and it said what it was, a pouch in your underwear? Why would you need a pouch in your underwear? This has got to be the stupidest idea I've ever heard. Or a $1 billion idea. And I was like, thank you. And it actually is a $1 billion idea. We're one of many companies selling pouch underwear. So the latter was correct. But that's not where I got the money. So I'm leaving the show, and I'm at a red light, and I get rear-ended. I see this car coming up, and it's not slowing down. It rear-ends me. It's a taxi, and I get this $5,000 check. So, because here's the thing, if you don't give up, sometimes the universe will reward you. It'll give you a little gift. I'm telling you, and it's because it's happened multiple times. And so, I didn't get hurt, and then my truck didn't even get damaged, really. Anyway, so I get this $5,000 check, and around that time, the universe just rearranges itself. Kickstarter comes out. Do you guys know about Kickstarter? Okay, so it's a crowdfunding platform where you present your idea to the public and see if it's a viable concept, and then people will either support you, they're called backers, or they don't support you, and whatever. So the idea is if you collect enough money, you take pre-orders, you send it to the manufacturer, they send you the bulk back, and then you give everyone their pre-orders. And so we did a Kickstarter, and it was really cool. You can go look it up online. They're still out there. It's kind of funny how long ago it was, but that was 2013. Okay, but I took that $5,000 because I'm always thinking about the customers, and you always need to be thinking about the customers. And I'm like, I don't want them to have to wait 6 months. So I took that $5,000, sent it to the manufacturer, and with kind of the hope and belief that the Kickstarter would be successful and I would get the remainder, send them the balance, get the shipment, everybody's happy. So we do the Kickstarter, and we got 377 backers for $14,000. And it was a success. And you're like, nice, that's a great story. And it was. We sent everyone their underwear, everyone's happy, and we sell out. But then I go to order more. And on the second production, instead of the pouch being too high, the pouch is too low. And the first batch was perfect and everyone was so happy we sold out, but this batch, it's too low. And these are actually decent pictures because there were like threads all over the place. There was like the pouch was sideways on some of them. I don't even know why they sent them. So now I'm back to square one. I have no money, no product, and what am I gonna do? We're not gonna quit, right? Never gonna quit. And I actually ended up getting 35% of my money back, but that wasn't enough to move forward. Well, this is a beautiful thing right here. Again, you don't quit. Here's another gift from the universe. I needed another manufacturer. Obviously wasn't gonna go with this one. And I got this email. This company wants to manufacture for us. So they send me a prototype that was better than what I sent them, okay? And there's a lot of anxiety dealing with this stuff. This is like a year has gone by and I made about $14,000, and like is this gonna work? Is it not gonna work? Well, I would be laying in bed with anxiety. You guys ever have that happen? And I would go into my closet and I would put this pair on that they sent me back. And it was so nice. And this warm rush of relief would wash over me. And I would know, like, it's going to be good. It's going to be okay. And, but we still needed to get the rest of the money. And I was like torn between doing a Kickstarter again, but we did another Kickstarter. And this time we got 21,000 with 575 backers. And since that time, 2014, we've been with the same manufacturer. They're amazing. I love them. We've built like this relationship over the years. We're partners, and it's a beautiful thing, okay? So we're shipping out all the orders. This is from that initial Kickstarter. Don't wrap your orders in paper. Note, because they will fall apart on the way there. But I thought it was cool because we were like this personalized touch, but we have since gone to poly bags for sending those. Now, we're off to the races. We come out with a 3.0. No more cotton. It's this modal fabric. It's very soft, breathable. It lasts forever. And we started sponsoring fighters. This is like 2015. Then I'm laying in bed and I'm like, we need to do a dual pouch because everything else was a single pouch, okay? Got to separate things further just for the extreme situations where you might need it. There's a little diagram. You get the picture, okay? Almost there, but there's still more obstacles because again, running a business and sustaining it, it's like a marathon, and you got to just kind of just keep going. You can't sprint and make $1 million overnight. Good luck. I mean, some people, it happens, but holding it together for a decade, working with people and their personalities and everything, that's a challenge in and of itself. And then yourself and the battles we've all dealt with being at war and seeing things that nobody should ever see, really, honestly. And dealing with that kind of stuff, it's a journey, and you got to keep moving forward. And anyways, we started releasing more designs. Got the bamboo shirts, and in 2017, we released the women's line. And because it was just going to be men's pouch underwear, but we would do these trade shows and stuff, and women would come up to our booth and feel the fabric and say, do you make women's? And I was dead against doing a women's line because I would just, want to focus on one thing. And that's smart at the start. Don't try to please everyone all at once. Start with the focus, and then as that's successful, you can kind of branch out. And so we did that, and it's been going well. It's much better for our social media instead of a bunch of dudes. It started in my closet. I mean, all my product fit in my closet. Then it went to the living room. Then it went to both living rooms. Then it went to the garage. And this is around 2017, 18, that same time frame. And we outgrew the garage. So we decided to go to outsourcing. 3PL, third-party logistics. Now, this is helpful when you outgrow your space, and it takes a burden off of you as a business owner, and you can focus on the other stuff. But there's little issues with it, but we were working, like they can overprice, like gouge you, kind of, and you are at their mercy. They have your product, they control everything. You can, like if somebody makes a purchase, they put the wrong size or they put the wrong address, guess what? It's going out anyways, and you got to deal with it after the fact. So there's a couple of pitfalls with outsourcing. They're not going to care as much as you. And I'm going to show you something, but this is a chart from like the beginning, 2013, 2014, 15, 16. So we started at 30,000, 60,000, 150, 250, 500,000, 1 million, 2 million, 4 million is in 2020. And yeah, this underwear, am I right? Right? So it's a good idea, and we're not the only ones doing it. Now there's like a lot of copycats coming up, but that's okay. So what happened in 2020? COVID. COVID hits. We got our product in these, I haven't even looked at you guys. Love you guys. We have our product in these warehouses, and they're non-essential services. So we're getting all these orders, and none of our product is going out. And I care about our customers. Once you start running a business, you work for the customer. And so they're not sending our orders. So what do? We bring it home. We bring it home to Woodland Park, Colorado. And we actually put it in our house for about a month or two, but that was like untenable. So we rented a space at Gold Hills Plaza. It's got a little storefront area. Please feel free to visit. But now we have control over our orders. And if you accidentally put the wrong size or put the wrong address, you call. We have a very small team, 9 people. You're going to talk to one of them. They're going to fix it, and it's going to go out correctly. And customer service is our number one concern aside from product, which we have a 2-year guarantee, which is insane on underwear, but 100% money back guarantee also. If you don't like it, you don't have to send it back. We will just give you your money back. So we don't want your dirty underwear. People send them back, and we gotta toss them. But we're sold in over 128 countries. We have sold to Vatican City, and we like to think that the Pope wears SHEATH. And so it's, we're selling all over the place. And so it's a big deal. People have a need for this thing, and it's just people look for it and find us. So that's a beautiful thing. But they don't just look for us and find us. We promote ourselves big time. A big portion of our proceeds. I've always been just I don't even care. I don't even, want the money so much. I want to build the brand. And so a third almost of our revenue just goes into advertising to build the brand. If you guys heard of the UFC, it's the fastest growing sports organization in the world. We are the official underwear of the UFC. If you guys are, I'm a super fan, so having this happen was just amazing, incredible. This is 300 where Max Holloway knocked out Justin Gaethje. It's one of the most legendary knockouts of all time, and we're over there, and this guy's biting this dude's arm. That's Bruce Buffer. There's Pereira knocking out Hill. No, there was Hill and Roundtree. Woo. I love Roundtree. Anyway, sorry, this is Donald Cerrone. Anyways, and we sponsor all these fighters, and we're trying to get our name out there. We sponsor Olympic athletes, a lot of big name comedians, intellectuals, UFC champions, Russell Brand, Dr. Drew. That's a picture of the Switchback Stadium, which you can't really see, Colorado Springs Switchbacks here. And anyways, so we're always promoting the product, but also you want to give back. So this campaign was focusing on men's mental health awareness. We had this guy, Luke, who actually flew to Greenland, found an iceberg, jumped into this sub-freezing water. He actually swam to the bottom of this iceberg, free dive, holding it up as if he's holding the weight of the world on his shoulders to signify what we all put on ourselves, men and women, but this is focused on men. And 50% of the proceeds went towards men's mental health awareness. Into the Dark Blue, Movember. In 2025, we're going to be working with the Heroic Hearts Foundation, which is another veteran-supported mental health foundation that promotes psychedelic drug use for like mental health and promoting that. I'm not promoting it, but I'm open to it, and so we're going to be putting a portion of our funds towards that next year, and we're very proud of that. So you got to give back. We did some other stuff, rescue animals and work, fostering animals and children, things like that. And we've also improved our women's line. Like that initial women's line wasn't that comfortable. I was told over, because a bunch of guys created it. So this was actually 3 years, my wife working on the women's line, and it's much more comfortable. This is our women's comfort line, okay? And we did this killer campaign, if you go to our YouTube channel, where like these 5 different women were in 5 different countries, swimming with the dolphins. This lady's in front of a volcano, this lady's in front of a waterfall, and there's another lady at a beach, but it's a very inspirational, you'll get chills, I get chills when I watch it, campaign for like the strength of women and what do you live for, or whatever, like what turns you on, so to go for your passion type thing. And it's a really cool campaign. And 2025, we're moving into socks. So we're working with this company, and it's a very well-established sock company that I can't mention, but one of the guys broke off and he's doing his own thing. We're partnering with them to release a new sock in 2025. And I actually tried to do it in like 2015, and the socks just weren't good enough. And you don't want to put out a bad product. But we're doing that. And this is like a goal for the next 20 years. And we want to kind of get back on that track and ultimately make $500 million over 20 years. It's very reasonable. And I think it can be done, It's not actually, the underwear market is like $1 billion annual market. So I'm talking over 20 years, and we could totally do it. So thank you for listening. We're giving away a free pair as you leave. And thank you. Thank you very much.